Oh. Morning everyone. Just a quick chat really. This one is just going to be on, which you have seen from my Instagram and Twitter, on how I feel about online lessons. So people such as Rick Shiels, Peter Finch, me and my golf, even Mark Crossfield. Just going to tell you that the impact that these kind of guys had on my golf when I first kind of started and even now. Also want to hear your opinion. So yeah, I'm going to cook breakfast and chat to you at the same time, I think. Yep, fry up time. Diet of a golfer, and this is not it. So, me and my golf. Let's start with them, shall we? Let's move that out of the way. Sharp objects. Now, as I'm sure a lot of you already know, me and my golf are just online coaching guys. We're like gurus now, really. They've been on YouTube and probably been coaching for absolutely donkey's years. And myself, like many of you I imagine, spent most of your time away from the golf course watching them really. I know I did. But the question is, does it really help? It's a tricky one. Don't need that. It is a tricky one. I think it does, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. However, I think there are certain things you really have to kind of think about. One of which is just how relevant it is, and that may sound really, really strange, but it's so easy to look online now and find and fix a problem with your golf swing. How many people do you see, including myself? Well, I haven't done one, but how to fix a slice, how to stop topping the ball. You know, there's so many kind of almost kind of clickbait titles now that entice people into watching it, and it only really, when you actually dig into those videos, they only really look at one problem that could cause that, which is fine. I myself was one of these people that when I first started playing again was looking into, like, especially me and my golf videos and even Mark Crossfield videos as well, you know, how to stop a slice with driver, you know, and I religiously watched these videos and tried implementing it, and I was still slicing it. And I think that kind of puts the videos into perspective a little bit. Yes, those drills work, and I had a bit of success from them. However, I think the bottom line is you need to identify your problems before you go and look at things like that. And that's where we move on to someone else. If you look at kind of Rick Shiels is not doing kind of coaching stuff anymore, but if you look at when Rick Shiels was doing online instructional videos, he actually filmed quite a lot of lessons, which I think was a really clever way of doing it. And you see like the swing analysis from me and my golf and Mark Crossfield and things like that. It's a very, very clever way of doing it because they're identifying a problem that that golfer has and putting it into that how to fix a slice video. Now that's very good. That works for that golfer because they know what problems they have. You might not have that problem, and if you don't know what problem it is, it's a bit of a tough situation to have. What is the point in actually trying to fix a slice when you don't know what causes it? And I think that's the problem that a lot of people have. A lot of amateurs will have it, including myself. And you see a lot of these guys online, if not all of them, turn around and actually saying, go and get a lesson. Especially Mark Crossfield. He's a massive opinion of go and have lessons. And actually criticises even himself sometimes about these instructional videos and how too many people are doing them and that they don't actually help. I think they do help. I'm not disagreeing with Mark because I do think they are destructive sometimes. How many golfers do you know that turn to you at golf on a Saturday and go, I fixed my slice, I watched the thing on YouTube last night and this is what I've got to do, and then you play around with them and they're still slicing the ball? Kind of proves a point, doesn't it? I am having an absolute feast here. This is going to be an epic breakfast. Oh, buzzing. So yeah, I just think that where they are good, these kind of videos, is, get a knife, I think where they are good is it gives you, if you watch a lot of them, like me and my golf will give you kind of 3 or 4 maybe different reasons as to why you slice the ball, not just one. But there are some other videos out there that only give you like one real reason why you slice the ball. You might not have that problem, like I've said. So it becomes destructive because you're practicing something for no reason. What's the point in you trying to correct something that's working already? You might not have an open club face at the top of your swing. So what's the point of trying to fix a club face? You know, one of the reasons you slice is apparently because you've got an open club face at the top of your swing. You may not have that, but you're watching a video that says fix your club face. It seems silly, doesn't it? And that's where I think I myself slipped up for a number of years. I think my progress was halted by some of this sometimes, until I realised that if you put those videos and actually go in to have a lesson together, that's when they work fantastically. And I think people misunderstand the reason why those guys do it. You know, I mean, I've just watched a podcast with the average golfer. He did a podcast with Rick Shiels a couple of weeks ago, which I thought was brilliant, because it really gave us an insight as to why Rick is doing what he's doing. And if you actually look at Rick Shiels' videos, they've changed. Obviously, as he's got bits bigger, the content's got better and the quality's got better. That's just a natural progression. But if you actually look at the content he's putting out, he's not putting coaching videos out anymore, really. He might do the odd tip here and there, but no longer is he doing those videos of how to hit a draw, how to hit a slice. It's just not relevant anymore. I think that's purely for the fact that people might be getting a bit wiser to it. Who knows? But we'll go back to the podcast kind of point. Rick Shiels turned around and said the only reason he started doing those videos was to promote himself as a golf coach, to get lessons. And I think if you ask every single person that does videos like that who's a pro, Peter Finch being another one, Matt Fryer, they're all doing these videos to get lessons. They're not doing it to be big on YouTube. Obviously having a following on YouTube is great, but I think really, and I think all of them will agree with me, if you look at interviews that they've done in the past online, they all say they did it to promote themselves as golf coaches, not to become YouTube sensations. And there's the hidden message. It's right there. This video has just been summed up in one point. They are helpful, but they make you go and have a lesson. That was the point of them. I, for one, spent hours and hours and hours on end watching stuff. I've always done, I played quite a decent level of squash and tennis. When I was younger, I learned by watching. I was just a very visual learner. I could watch and feel like, and then also I feel like I could replicate movements and all that kind of stuff. So I've done the same with golf. That's what I've always done, is watch and learn, rather than going to lessons and being taught. That got me so far. Those videos got me so far. So how to hold a grip, how to hold a club properly, you know, all those stuff. As a beginner in golf, they were brilliant, because they gave me basics to work on, fundamentals to work on. However, now, even when I was kind of 16 handicapper, 15, 13, you know, they were helpful, but at the same time, I had to go and have a lesson to see for myself, if that makes sense. Oh, look at them bad boys. One of these babies in a meat drawer the weekend. Lucky me. Devon pubs, eh? Traditional Devon pubs doing the old school meat drawers for your locals, eh? Quality. What a life I live. We're in a meat drawers on a Friday night. Quality, man. Look at them. Woo! Anyway, I'm being distracted by this glorious food. And what was I saying? Where was I? So yeah, as a beginner, I found those videos very helpful. It allowed me to learn the game a lot quicker. It was a lot cheaper, which is a very, very, very big point there. That's why they're effective, is because they're free. So yeah, a lot cheaper. It was very helpful when I started golf, but when I started to kind of understand the golf swing a little bit more, and understand that maybe the swing wasn't working as well as I wanted it to, I was still slicing a ball, for instance, because I really, really suffered with that when I was starting out. It was a massive slice with longer irons and driver, like most people. I realised I'm watching these videos, and I'm still doing what I don't want to do, and that's slice the ball or top it or whatever, maybe I should go and have a lesson. So all I did was I went and had a lesson. I turned around to the pro that I was using and said, this is what I've learned, this is what I think I'm doing, is it right? And they will simply be honest with you, they will just turn around and tell you whether you're barking up the wrong tree or whether you are bang on with what you're doing. You might be lucky, you know. You might have a club face issue as to why you're slicing the ball with driver, and you might just be so lucky that you've been watching those videos on YouTube, you know. Because how many golfers really fully understand what they're doing wrong? I know I didn't, I still don't. My point is, I think if you balance lessons with those videos, I think it can work hand in hand. I just don't think people should primarily learn from just watching those videos. That's not why they're there, and I think that's the message, and I think that's what, if you look behind it all, the true meaning of those videos is to go and have a lesson. And I'm not a pro, so I'm not even trying to sell lessons here. That's me just saying, mix the two together and you could be onto a winner. So I'm not saying the videos are useless, they're not, they're very, very helpful. And they helped me when I started the game. But it's finding that balance of going to have a lesson, and yes, some lessons are expensive, and if you can't afford a lesson then, and you're happy going on the online stuff, that's great, that is great. They are good, and you see certain people trolling them online a little bit and saying that they're useless and they're crap. They might be to that person because they have different views. To me, I think they've been very, very helpful, and I think deep down everyone knows that. I think without offending too many people, I think people are too tight to go and have a lesson because it is expensive. That's my opinion. I know I've been there. I don't want a lesson, can't afford it. I'd rather spend that money on green fees to go and play because it's more enjoyable. But that's when you need to decide where you want to go with golf. Do you want to get better, or are you happy just being where you are? If you're happy being where you are, then that's great. That's great. No one's going to stop you. Oh, I'm certainly not, as long as you're playing golf. You know, it's brilliant that people are playing. But if you want to get better and you're trying to learn by yourself, if you're able to teach yourself, you'd be a PGA professional, wouldn't you? Another very interesting point, by the way, and I've just thought of that off the top of my head. Have you noticed now, people like Rick Shiels, Mark Crossfield, Peter Finch, me and my golf maybe not so much, they've all stopped doing instructional videos. Me and my golf still do them, I know, but Crossfield doesn't do it anymore. Peter Finch doesn't really do it anymore. Rick Shiels doesn't do it anymore. And do you know why that is? It's because they're not teaching anymore. Or if they are, they're busy enough and they're happy with it, so they don't need to sell themselves anymore. And there it is, I've said it. They're happy with their lessons that they've got, so they don't need to sell themselves as coaches anymore. Because YouTube has made them minted. Oh, God, how good would that be? But honestly, I think that's true. I genuinely do. I think the reason they're not doing those instructional videos anymore is because they don't need to sell themselves as golf coaches. So those lesson videos and those instructional videos are invaluable. They don't do anything for them anymore. And that's great, because it's got them to the YouTube, and those videos have got them to where they want to be. However, I think that just kind of means that if they were that important, surely they'd keep doing them. Would it not? Christ, I feel like I'm on a cookery show this morning, you know, with a camera in front of me. It's quite funny, really. I feel like the Gordon Ramsay. Whisk, 2 minutes. Once you've done 2 minutes, leave it to sit for a second whilst I find something else to do. Beans, microwave, 2.5 minutes. Done. It's just so easy being a cook, isn't it, I suppose, on the camera. I could do that. Who needs golf? I'll be a cook on YouTube instead. No, that's silly. Couldn't save my life normally. But yeah, I think there's the proof in the pudding. They've stopped doing these coaching videos. People like Chris Ryan, Chris Ryan Golf, don't know if you've seen him, he's at the Belfry. Lovely lad, never met him, seems nice. Tailor-made bum buddy, but who isn't? I don't know him, so I'm not going to judge him. But he's a golf coach, wants lessons, and is putting instructional videos out. Matt Fryer, good friends with Rick Shiels and Peter Finch, I believe. He's a golf coach, is doing instructional videos to sell himself. Mark Crossfield was a golf coach, did instructional videos, the biggest YouTuber in the world at one point, probably, golf YouTuber. Probably not anymore because Rick's a bit more successful, I think. Could be wrong. Not doing instructional videos anymore. And there it is, that's the bottom line. So I've been rambling on really, but I think the bottom line is, my answer is, are they helpful? Yes they are. I think you've just got to balance it right with lessons and working with a pro, rather than just looking on your phone and trying to fix something that you might not even need fixing. So moral of the story is, have a lesson first, I would say. That's what I probably wish I'd have done first, is have a lesson first to see problems. I have a lesson maybe once a month now, and when I was learning, I'd have one once every 2 or 3 weeks. Go away and work on something. I'd go online to find drills to work on the thing that me and the pro had found, rather than trying to fix a problem online. You want to have that problem, like I say. Go to a pro, find out what the problem is, then go online and use the drills that they give, because they work. They wouldn't do it otherwise. That's the way I think that people should be doing it, not the other way around. Bacon on the grill, smoked. I love it. You probably will think I'm a right weirdo. I don't care, because I know I am. Oh dear, I didn't win the bacon at a meat draw, that's from Tesco. Boring. So yeah, I want to know what you think now. Enough of me rabbling on about what I think. I think they're helpful if they're used in the right way. What do you think? I want to know what you think. Smash that like button, comment down below, all that crap. Comment down below, guys. I want to hear from you. Give me your opinion. Do online lessons work, in your opinion? I don't want any arguments. I just want to know. What do you think? I think they do, if used in the right way. I think they can also be just as destructive as they are helpful, as others would agree, I think. I think they were destructive for me at some point. To be totally honest with you, I think my progress was stunted, really, stunned a little bit by just watching me and my golf all the time, as much as they're lovely boys. I think it was held back a little bit, because I could have been, for all I know, working on something with a swing fix that I found on YouTube that I didn't even have to fix. Let me know your opinion, please. Do your lessons, or have you learnt golf by watching me and my golf and those guys? Or do you prefer lessons in person? What works for you? Everyone's different, and that's the beauty of golf. You know, you can be a 68-year-old man who can barely walk and can barely rotate a hip, that probably doesn't even have his own hip, and still hit the ball straight. But if I did what he did, it wouldn't work. It's the beauty of golf, and I love it. It's what makes you come back. So yeah, let me know what you think. Comment down below. I want to hear from you. Do you think Rick Shiels, Mark Crossfield, me and my golf, Peter Finch have done wonders for the game? Or do you think the online lessons that they do are destructive? Right, anyway, I'm finishing my breakfast off now, so I'm going to leave you alone. My next vlog, hopefully, is a course vlog. I'm meeting up with Smithy here golf again. It's the rematch, because we finished all square last time, which was such an anticlimax. But yeah, we're playing at his turf. Again, we're playing at Exit Golf and Country, I hope. So we'll be filming that one. I've only played there once, so he's got the home advantage. But yeah, that'll hopefully be the next video. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching me cook breakfast. You'll see me on BBC this morning. Not BBC, that's ITV, isn't it? You'll see me on this morning instead of Gino de Campo in no time, I think. Oh god, smoky. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. and I will see you all very soon. It's possibly the most cliche video I've ever done. Cook along with Curtis Corby Golf. Oh my god. The golfer's diet. Get in my belly.